Hi friends, and welcome to this channel. I guess at this point everybody's new here. My name is Stefan, and on this channel I like to talk about stuff I like, gadgets and tools, and just share what I love. In this video I like to talk to you about the Traveler's Company notebook, share with you how I use it, the pros, the cons, and why I think this is the best notebook for everybody to use in their daily and professional life. Coming to the materials. This notebook is made fully out of leather and it's pretty rugged. It's a thick cow's leather, which you maybe can see here, and it will absolutely age beautifully just by touch of your hand. You don't need to apply leather care, oil or something. Just the natural oils in your hand will over time give it a beautiful aging, and you can actually look it up if you're interested in search for notebooks and 5 years, 10 years or something, and you will see how well these things keep up and get actually more beautiful over time. What I have here is the brown option, but they also have a black option and a blue option and a very light brown option. I think it's called camel or something like that. In terms of dimension, the dimensions of these notebooks are 12.5 centimeters in width, and this is around 5 inches, and 22 centimeters in length, which is around 8 and 2/3 inches. The form factor of this notebook is pretty much 16 by 9, like what you know of YouTube and TVs and everything. And if you seek for a comparison, it very well compares with, for example, an envelope. So if you see, they're pretty identical, and if I put the envelope in front, yeah, it pretty much fits. So I think you can relate to an envelope, and this is also one of the form things that you should keep in mind. The pages are very narrow, so if we open it up, you will see one page is very narrow, especially if you compare it to a Moleskine, for example, which has a little bit of broader pages, which you will notice in your day-to-day writing in it. For me, I first heard about the Traveler's Notebook by a different YouTube channel actually called Maurice Moves, and he shared a lot of videos about this notebook. I will link a few of those, about how he uses it, why he chose it, and basically whenever he does a back review of something, he shows how this notebook fits in his sling, in his bag and everything. When considering getting one of these notebooks, I thought really hard for me why I actually wanted a notebook and not, for example, such notebook, and not use an existing Moleskine that I had, or even take notes on my iPad, for example, with an Apple Pencil, or just take notes digitally on my computer. This is actually a little bit of a passion topic of mine, and I can do a whole video of just comparing the different note-taking styles, but the gist of it is I would love to be able to could take notes on my keyboard, on my computer, because they're searchable, and handwritten notes are not searchable. But in the end, I just don't take the notes with my keyboard, and it's much less friction in the end to just pick up a pen, take my notebook, and write something down. It can be very structured if I'm planning something out and have all the time in the world, but it could also be something like I'm actually in a meeting and someone asks me, could you maybe check that and come back to me? And even this is way easier to just jot something down, get back to Tom, and figure this out later on, and not having to deal with taking digital notes, and also not using Post-its, for example, which are a total mess, are all over. So what does make the Traveler's Notebook special? The most special thing is, compared to a regular notebook like the Moleskine, that this Moleskine has a set number of pages. So you start writing, and at some point you're at the last page and you're done. You can shelf the notebook, you can toss the notebook, everything is fine, but you cannot continue writing in this notebook, regardless of how well it's aged, how much you like it. If the pages are all filled, you're done. In comparison, the Traveler's Notebook, on the other hand, has a system where all the pages are, I hope you can see it, are are actually fixated with a big rubber band in here. And you can just buy additional pages. That looks something like this here. And these pages are 64 pages, dotted paper, dot grid. I put that in the camera here. I hope, yeah, it should be a bit readable. And these pages are actually meant to just replace the one in there. So you will never actually have to toss it because it's full. You might not have a replacement at hand, but you can just get more. They're not expensive. In Germany, they cost around €5 maybe for 64 pages. Even the page quality, this is really good in my opinion, especially because you can decide which kind of pages you want. This is dotted grid. Right now I'm using just the blank paper, which is blank paper, but you could also get lines or square marked, kariert in German. Another big benefit of using the traveler's notebook versus other notebooks, for example, are that there are not only paper that you can use, but also something which would be called, I call it bag, but it's not really bag, it's something else. It is like this inlay, which has these plastic thingies which you can open and close, and different enclosures on the other side where you can put stuff in. And these allow you, if you have these installed in a traveler's notebook as well, to store small things. You could have a bookmark in there, you can have business cards in there, you can have posters in there, whatever floats your boat basically. And you keep them with you, and if someone hands you something, like a business card for example, you have a place to actually stuff things, which is really great because those small items are usually one of the first things that get lost. One of the most undervalued things in terms of accessory that I love about my traveler's notebook is this particular brass clip. I hold it in the camera so you can see it a little bit better. Let's see if you can see it here. So it's a brass clip. It's very strong, and it allows you to actually keep the pages where you want them to be. Do an example in here. So if you have this notebook, it tends to wobble a little bit, and you just take the clip, insert this at the top, and it stays perfectly flat. This is amazing, and I cannot understate the value. If you ever had a notebook where the pages doesn't really want to stay where you are, it's super frustrating and it takes the joy of way of writing. This is also one of the big strengths of the flat, flappy back moleskin. That's not. So when it comes to my current setup, I keep things very simple, for now at least. I have this plastic baggy thing in here, and then I have just one inlay for all my stuff. This is work and personal, which I keep in one notebook for now, and I plan to actually separate them a little bit with one work notebook, one personal notebook, so I can keep different kind of notes all in one notebook. The traveler's notebook works having two notebooks in there. There are different styles on how to install them, and there are way better videos out there explaining to you how to install them than I could possibly do. So I will link them in the description thingy. Just check them out. So what is actually like using the traveler's notebook? So first and foremost, the paper. The paper is very smooth and most likely unlike anything you've used before. Copy paper, which just a normal page that would use, feels rough in comparison. Like if you use a pencil, for example, you feel on the copy paper, you feel the paper, whereas on the traveler's notebook, it's like gliding on a very, very smooth surface, which feels amazing for pens, for fountain pens especially, and all other pens that I've tried. I personally love writing with a fountain pen, and this is my favorite so far. Let me know if you want a video on this one as well, so we can dig right in. And the one big issue that I had with my moleskin is that the ink would bleed through the pages, meaning I could see the ink on the other page. This is super frustrating because it makes the other page a little bit more difficult to read, and it's not that nice of experience. The paper on the traveler's notebook instead has a very, very good ink qualities, so you barely see the ink, even if you have a very dark one like red or dark, like black or dark blue, and you barely see it on the other side. The only downside that I would like to mention here is that it takes a little bit for the ink to dry. So if you're a quick writer, turn the pages, smear with it over your palm too fast, then you might have smearing on the page, which is not that nice. So either wait before turning the pages, or have something like eraser paper, so you can just erase it and go on, like you know from school. Or what I like to use in these cases, I like to use different pencils and pens. So for example, I have a mechanical pencil in here, which I use if I just need to write down something very fast and go on with my day. This allows me to actually don't have to think about smearing and everything, because it's pencil. The pencils are pretty nice, I must say. I like this. From a feeling perspective, the form factor is a little bit smaller and narrow. I mentioned that previously. You need, if you aren't used to this, you need to get used to it a little bit in order to have the page size you need. What I sometimes do is, if I, for example, do a mind map or something where I need a little bit more space, I just use a double spread page, so a little bit more width. That allows me to get a diagram or something in, and then just continue in the next page further on. So, my closing thoughts. I like the form factor, but you need to get used to it in order to get all the benefits that you would have with this notebook. This is a forever item. It will get better and prettier over time if you use it, if you actually touch it, and I'm not afraid to actually use this notebook, take it with you and have it in the office. Even the prettiest notebook is basically pointless if you don't take it with you. If you're looking at the pages and papers, experiment with that. I started with the blank and dotted grid for now, and I will try different papers just to see how it feels. I'm pretty sure you could also get third-party paper from different manufacturers of different paper qualities, but I've not experimented with those, and except from the slow ink drying, I have absolutely no reason to actually try and go in that. So I will stick with the original manufacturer's papers. The company is Midori, and it's a Japanese company, and this paper is really nice and a little bit difficult to get, or let's more say expensive to get in Germany via Amazon. There are different websites where you can get those papers for, I said, around €5 per refill, so you have options. If you want to install more than one refill, there are also extended that are called connecting rubber bands. And these connecting rubber bands are sold separately. You can get them at the same websites, which I will link for the paper refills. They're not that expensive, and they come in a pack of 4, and you basically need one in our set. So yeah, buy once and you're done with it. So I hope you liked the video. My initial thoughts on the Traveler's Notebook, I've used it for 1 month now, and in terms of how many pages I used 28 pages for now. So for my personal usage, I expect to get around 2 months of use of 164 page inlet, which is pretty reasonable for me, and I think I will be happy. I will maybe split my work and will report back to you in maybe 6 months time. Let's see if my opinions change over then, to let you know how my whole workflow with the book changed. Yeah, this was the first video and thank you for making it through the end. I hope you liked it. I hope the audio is okay, because I'm just filming this with my iPhone for now. Let me know in the comments. Maybe even drop a like or subscribe or all this YouTube jazz if you like. And yeah, hopefully we'll see each other in the future. Goodbye.